In an attempt to quell the fires burning throughout the community, Twitch has thrown out a heap of changes, trying to put band-aids on all the damage they've caused. But are these changes good? Are they enough to win streamers back? Or is it just not enough to stop the hordes of creators that are transitioning to other platforms? We are going to discuss all that and more in today's episode of The Stream Room. I am one of your handsome hosts, Nicktacular.
I am not so handsome, but I'm Eljay.
I am the troll of the group, known as Reaps. How we going, boys?
Excellent.
Well, you are decrepit and old, to be fair. So.
Well, it's the troll toll. That's what I'm waiting for.
The boys.
Yeah,
Come on, boys. Let's
I mean,
talk
he's
about
dressed for it. He's in
content
like the old cardigan jacket with like the dad hat. So like,
I need like a
dressed for the role.
pipe and like a whiskey just right there, and I think I can fit into that role nicely.
Excellent.
Australia is less whiskey and more just like you just got a big thing of 4X, right?
Yeah, and like a stubby holder as well. Maybe a lazy boy chair, definitely.
Oh, good old lazy boy.
Yeah. But boys, before we go on with what we're going to talk about then, obviously the changes with Twitch, this is our last podcast, but you'll be hearing it after the fact that we've all met each other at PAX.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So this
How
is the
was
last
PAX?
episode ever to go out because we'll all hate each other after PAX, right?
Yeah.
It's been real. Thank you for the journey, everyone. Like, subscribe, and comment.
We'll just aggressively despise each other.
The thumbnail of the in-person one's just us just choking each other's throats. Like,
Bart Simpson styles, yeah.
yeah. It's like, we all hate each other. How was PAX, boys? This stuff.
Mate,
So good,
when
right?
Eljay got that wasted and started doing those things, you can see why they banned him from Twitch. That's all I'm saying, Nick.
God, I can't believe he was hanging off the balcony as well. It was
Why
crazy.
would you do that? And why would you start
What can I say? What can I say? I'm a man who likes to live dangerously.
Yeah, that's understandably so.
That's
Hanging
so
from a
fair.
balcony.
But boys, we have a lot to discuss today. There is a flurry of changes that Twitch is just thrown at us out of nowhere, just getting people into new experiments. Things are coming in. Things like old features are dying. It's all happening.
Is today the day that hosting is gone?
Today is the day. It is
Yesterday,
gone.
technically. Oh, no,
Yesterday.
American date. So
Yeah.
you're
So it's
right.
today.
Because we're a day ahead.
Pull one out for the hosters.
No, fuck them. Hosting's. Also, can we? While we're talking about updates, I want to talk about this one straight away. We talk about the raids. I don't know if we talked about this, but they updated it so you can control your raids. So you can put a minimum cap and a maximum cap on raids. So if you're a small streamer and you don't want to get like a giant raid from a content creator because it'll make you anxious, you can lock it. If you're a big streamer and you don't want to get hit by a bunch of like 2-3 person raids, you can block it. Now, here's the thing. People are really, really angry and they're all tweeting Twitch, fucking calling them out and stuff like that. Do you not want flexibility and control?
Yeah.
Like literally for the last 3 years of me being a content creator, all I've heard is people go, I just wish I had more control over the things I want. I just wish I had more control over things. And now Twitch is like, hey, we're going to give content creators full control about whatever they want to do. And now it's like, oh, Twitch, what, you just don't want small streamers raiding big streamers, you pieces of shit? Whoa!
You don't have to use it. Like, I don't understand. It's
Like legit.
It's like they're blaming Twitch for giving the control to these streamers and being like, but now I can't raid the big streamer with 500 viewers with my 3-viewer raid. How am I going to get noticed now?
Yeah.
It's the streamer you should be upset at who's locked it, right? That he doesn't want small raids, or they don't want small raids. You shouldn't be angry or upset at
Yeah, it's an optional thing to have on your dashboard that you can obviously screw around with. And I think it's a good thing, obviously. I think we all agree that it's a good thing because there are many times when you may even get like bot raids, things like that, hate raids and stuff. And you can lock them off because, chances are of getting a huge raid is very minimal. You may get one, maybe once a year. I don't know. Depends on wherever you are or whoever you're streaming to. But it's very minimal when that happens. And you know that more times than not, when I've been raided or followed, it's usually a goddamn follow bot or a raid bot. And you're just like, how can I control this so it doesn't happen? And Twitch are actually giving you that option because, that's a good thing. And you don't have to use it. I got to stress, you do not have to use this function.
No. They're forcing your hand.
Yeah.
Forcing your hand.
They're forcing you. It's a fantastic feature, especially you can say how old you want accounts to be that can actually raid you as well, which I think is a massive point too.
Yes. Very good point.
Like, no longer will you could get raided by a brand new account. Like it needs. I think that they set the default to 30 days. So accounts that are 30 days and older is the default, which is accounts that can raid you. But depending on how much control a streamer wants, or they can. increase that as well. So look, more control is good. If you see anybody complaining about it, tell them to shut up.
Yeah, legit. Like legitimately. Okay. Well, it's also people keep complaining about how Twitch is no longer supporting a bunch of extra browsers. And it's like, Twitch didn't do anything except listen to viewers. So if you don't know, there was an issue where a bunch of people couldn't log in or couldn't use Twitch on certain browsers like a week ago. And everyone was like, oh, screw you, Twitch, screw you, Twitch. And Twitch was like, hey, if you're struggling, make sure you're using a fully up-to-date browser in one of these 3 months, blah, 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 right? That's what they tweeted out, rather than going into in-detail depth replies about why it's happened. And then they retweeted a little bit later, giving more context, being like, hey, guys, the reason it doesn't work isn't because we removed anything. We never supported all these other browsers that you guys wanted to use. It's just they were on Chromium or something, so it worked. And the new changes have made it because someone was making like millions of bot accounts every single hour. And so we just updated our security protocols, which meant some of the other browsers that we never supported now can't be used. What do you want? 25 million bot accounts in 24 hours or some crap? Or do you want some 1% of you guys using some weird fucking browser to be allowed to use it at all times?
Yeah.
It's like, and everyone's flipping their shit. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the people who run those browsers, they just need to do some updates and then everything will work anyway. So it's not super bad. It's not dire. I was one of the people that I didn't quite understand it. I did post in the Discord where I was like, oh, well, look what they're doing now. Look what they're doing now. But then Eljay's like, nah, shut up, you idiot. And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
I just gave context to you because I feel like you just followed. The thing is, right, here's the problem, is I think a lot of people who are good streamers, smart streamers, they see a post on Twitter, right? And they go, I should take this at face value, right? Because it's from someone I respect or it's from someone who usually you can understand. But these days, I feel like you literally can't take a single thing said at face value on Twitter or on these social media platforms or anything like that. Like, there's like 6 different degrees worth of miscommunications and idiocy that happens across social media on these updates now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, and also it just shows that people like miss everything as well. Because I posted on Stream Scheme the other day being like, hey, here's a poll. What do you think about these 2 platforms? And we got like 10,000 votes in 24 hours. And a bunch of the comments were like, YouTube has terrible monetization. And I don't think they're ever going to do anything to help creators monetize. And I was like, tell me you don't pay any attention to the platforms without telling me you don't pay any attention. Because like the last 2 weeks has just been YouTube purely being like, we are making it so anyone can monetize faster and faster and faster over the next, and it'll be here in the next like 2 months. And it's exciting. Like, and I said, are you, sounds like you haven't been paying attention to the announcements and you're just making a statement. And he was like, oh yeah, no, I don't pay attention to any YouTube changes. And I was like,
okay.
So why?
Awesome.
But
very informed opinion.
Yeah, the thing to me as well is like, even if you are, say, a full-time Twitch streamer, you don't care about other platforms and whatever, you do you. I think that anybody who works at any kind of company or any type of business person knows what the competition is doing. Like, I know that when I worked for Disney, we were watching Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon to see what worked for them in terms of promos, in terms of ratings, like their whole schedule and stuff like that, because that's what makes you better. You see what they're doing and you can see if you can, add to it and make it better, things like that. So if you're just on Twitch and you're like, I don't care about these YouTube changes, you should, because then you can see things that could work on Twitch that maybe aren't working at the moment. You're like, man, if I change this around, then I can obviously get maybe more viewers or more interest or more discoverability. So I always think that this is what I really like, is when we do have this like weekly meeting, because there's stuff that I haven't heard that I'm like, oh, really? That happened to you? Like the whole Supercoin thing with you, Nick, during a subathon, which is like terrible. But then they've obviously got to the elevated chats now. It just seems to be this. Me. Oh no!
I was doing a stream at like a TED Talk on my Fridays. Every now and then on a Friday, I'll do like a TED Talk style presentation, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to talk about X topic today. And then I just have like 5 or 6 like headings and a bunch of slides and dot points. And I just write a bunch of dot points and then I just kind of free flow talking about what I want to talk about.
Yep.
And this Friday was all about like the YouTube fan funding changes, which we all covered all those updates last week, and talking about like some of the new things going on and blah, 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 and some of the issues I'm having with Twitch and all that sort of stuff, right? And I kept checking. No Twitch staff were in my chat. We were fine. And it was fine. But one of the things that happened was I was literally talking about how Twitch is constantly adding more and more ways to monetize, right? But at the same time, it's like they're not ways to monetize that feel good. They don't increase the content. In fact, I feel like they often take away from the content, which is all of the ad incentives they take away from the content, which right now I know for a fact that running mid-rolls is technically better for my content and my growth, but I'm refusing to run them, which is actually, I'm seeing it really hurt my channel, but I'm at the same time thinking to myself, no, this is my little personal protest. You know what I mean? I'm not going to interrupt my content for this. I know it's better for me if I do. I'm just not going to do it. But I was doing this whole thing talking about how these monetization options don't really connect with what I think makes Twitch good. You know what I mean? And literally as it happens, Sharky trolls me and goes, hey, LJ, look, I've elevated my message. $8 he spent, $8 Australian dollars. Okay. And it was up at the top for 30 seconds, I believe. Right?
Yep, 30 seconds.
I had no idea this was a feature being rolled out. I got no notifications about it. And then afterwards, I looked at my payments. I looked at what I earned. I earned $3 US of that 8 Australian, which means if we convert, it's supposed to be a 70-30 split. So it's 70-30, then they take taxes out of it, and of course currency conversion. So I ended up getting, of his 8 Australian dollars, getting like $4. Like $4, $4.20 or something like that Australian.
That's
so
crazy.
It came out to 50-50, which is ridiculous when bits are 100 bits and I get a $1. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like I literally, no one is complaining. Okay. Can someone please point out the person out there who is complaining about bits and subs? Literally the crown that Twitch gets. They get 2 crowns every time this conversation comes up. 1, they are better for monetizing small creators. And 2, they have better community. So why are we with the things that work?
Yeah.
Why? Like legitimately.
At least this time with the elevated chat, it's additive. Like they've added it on. They haven't just completely replaced bits like they were doing with the cheer coin. So that's one very small positive.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's very, the more of these changes that keep rolling out, the more it's reinforcing the fact from what we talked about, I think last week, where it's like, they came out saying like all the decision makers at Twitch, all the heads at Twitch are very profit focused. Like they're just not creator focused in the slightest, and all these changes are proof of that now.
Yeah, it's not good from what I've heard. Like in terms of the whole, I understand the elevated chat. Don't get me wrong. I understand it because YouTube has done it and it's, worked for them, and Twitch is like, okay, how can we get more revenue, without doing ads and stuff? And they're like, maybe this is a solution. But from what we've heard from Eljay, it seems very much greed rather than let's try and add to the user experience, which I think, Bits does really, really well because, you can do your cheer modes, you can do like different animations. Like it's fun. It's like something that you pay for a little bit extra so that you can get that kind of coverage in the chat. But with elevated chats, I think I posted this in the Discord in terms of like, what's the solution if it comes to somebody trolling or things like that? What if I wanted it removed because it gave personal information? Like what?
I had no idea what I could do.
Yeah.
I had no idea I was like, if this, and I said to Sharky, I was like, yeah, thanks for that. I really enjoyed that, but I'm glad it was you. I was like, I'm glad it was you because at the end of the day, like that could be anything. And like, and people, I've mentioned it before. I have someone who like on a weekly basis is trying to maliciously dox me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I was like, okay, holy shit. Like, this is terrible. I don't want an elevated message. I don't know how to get rid of it because you didn't send me an email or tell me this feature was coming. Like, I was legitimately frustrated. I was so frustrated, but I had to like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Nobody use that, please. Let's continue to talk, But I was pissed. I was actually like legitimately pissed. I think it's a terrible, terrible feature. And I think that the zero notification, the zero alerts, nothing was so annoying. Like, don't with my system. Like, I know it's your platform, but if you're going to with it, tell me.
Yeah.
Right, I'm really frustrated at this stuff lately. It's circling the drain for me.
It's okay. Like now with YouTube Super Chats, the way it works is it just shows the amount and the person who sent the super chat, right? Like it doesn't show the
like
actual
their little
super
logo up the top. And it's
you
their
can
logo.
highlight it if you want.
Yeah, so at least that way, if they try to send something that's like, if they try to say something racist or doxing or whatever, like it's not going to show to the rest of the chat. Like that's my understanding.
Basically, it will show up in the chat, but I believe you have to click on their name. Like, so it'd be at the top is like a little bar, and I think you can click on their name to see what they wrote. I could be wrong there. But it basically does show that, this person donated $100, so they're going to be up there for the next 5 minutes or so, whatever it is. Yeah.
And I at least know it exists, so I knew how to remove it when it happened on Stream Scheme if I wanted to. I just want to point that out again. It's like, oh, LJ, do you hate Super Chats? Well, no, because I know Super Chats exist and I don't get blindsided, so I know how to remove them as well. It's just, no, I know. I think the reason it frustrates me so much is I don't want to be forced between making content on a platform that I support and have good choices on and like stuff like that, and a platform that I love. Like I want Twitch to be all the things that I love and want, but it's just like, and the thing that really frustrates me is I really love our region of Twitch as well. Like, and it's like, why can't our region of Twitch have the same, like, why can't, the whole world of Twitch have the same kind of concept of being like, oh, we're going to be creator focused and talk to our creators. You know what I mean? Yeah. But every time I talk to every UK creator I've spoken to, every American creator I've spoken to, they're all like, oh yeah, no, they don't give a about us.
Yeah, I feel like it's a glass ceiling there. While here, if people don't know, we've got the ANZ region. They pretty much look over Australia, New Zealand, and also parts of Southeast Asia.
Like Singapore and
things like that. And they are just so proactive. Like,
literally,
I tell you what, our Discord is proactive. They send out newsletters. If you send them an email, like literally, I had a ticket to go to TwitchCon. I was like, I can't make it anymore. Can I give this to one of my mods? And they're like, sure, we'll sort it out for you. And I gave them the email of the mod, and then they sorted it out. And so now my mod can go to TwitchCon for free and the party, which is awesome. They're just so proactive and so amazing. Well, I've heard, as you said, in UK, US, it's kind of like you kind of yell out into the void and hope something happens.
It's so frustrating. Whereas on the flip side, I uploaded a YouTube video last night, which was Breath of the Wild, What If I Die, I Become a Clown, which is just one of the most horrific thumbnails I've ever made in my life.
It's beautiful.
But I upload that, right? And then this morning I upload a short, like a little like highlight short to a different channel. Short gets 4,000 views in 30 minutes. 50 more viewers come across and watch the, of those 4,000, 50 viewers come across and watch the full video. And it's like, I'm frustrated because I don't like the fact that everything I'm doing over on YouTube is clearly proving that the features they're building and rolling out are creator focused and are friendly towards what I'm doing. They work for me. They're not releasing a feature and I'm sitting there going, oh, that sucks. You know what I mean? Or like, I at least know the features are coming out, Yeah. It frustrates me, And I don't want to, I keep telling people like, oh, you don't need to sub. And I keep saying that over on Twitch because I don't feel comfortable telling people to sub on Twitch because I legitimately just like, I just don't know if I support the platform as much anymore. Like, and it sucks because I love it.
In the past 2 weeks, it's just flipped, hasn't it, in terms of their kind of what's going on there. Sorry, Nick. Yeah.
No, it's all right. And I'm sure we'll discuss it later with LJ's poll results as well.
Yeah, very true, very true.
It's ironic that, they're making all these decisions thinking like, oh yeah, we're going to give them, more monetization options for creators. Like, this is going to be great. This is what they want. And then all these people are just leaving. Like, the people who are going to generate that income for them are completely just jumping ship. And they sit there thinking, but I don't understand. Why is everyone leaving? What? Now we're not making as much money because people are leaving.
Yeah.
And if it keeps going this way, it's not looking great for the foreseeable future. And as we've spoken about in the previous couple podcasts, it's like this is the time to really kick your asses into gear and really start paying a little more attention to other platforms. And consider how many days a week you're streaming and how long you're streaming for.
Yep.
Shave those back a bit. Spend that extra time somewhere else.
Well, you mentioned LJ's long polls, and we haven't done an LJ long poll segment in a while.
Can we see those long polls?
Let's do an LJ's long poll. We'll do it like a jingle or something like, LJ's got a long poll. There we go.
Hold on, I'm going to write these lyrics down so I can create a beat behind them.
Cool. They're very complex lyrics.
Sorry. I got it.
But essentially, to give some context, for the last like 2.5 years, if you don't know about LJ's long polls, on Stream Scheme, I've been running polls and showing people polls and getting my polls ready to go, where people can vote in them and give me kind of their feedback, right? En masse their feedback about questions, such as what's more important, audio or visuals? What's this? What's that? And they're kind of used as a research tool so that I know where people either lack information, where they're thinking about in terms of biases and stuff like that, right? And one of the great ones I always get a reply to a lot of these being like, oh, this isn't scientific. You're asking on YouTube, so YouTube will always win, which is the dumbest take ever, because when I upload a video about YouTube on this channel, no one clicks it, right? Like they only want to watch streaming stuff. So it's they just don't understand the demographic, but also it's not scientific. That said, for the last 2.5 years of running these polls, every single time I ask the question, if you had to start streaming tomorrow from zero on a brand new channel, not connected to anything, where would you start? Every single time for the past 2.5 years, Twitch has won, and it's usually won with like 75, 80%. Like it's always crushed to YouTube. This poll is being asked on YouTube to streamers and content creators, and it always crushes. Twitch always crushes it, always ends up getting 75 to 80% of the votes. I asked it again for the first time in about 4 months, yesterday or 3 days ago. It's had 10,000 replies to it. 65% of them have said YouTube is the future. It's where they would go to start if they had to start from zero.
Wow. That is
streaming from zero as well.
Swing. That is a huge swing.
It's completely flipped.
Yeah.
Completely flipped. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. So I also asked, which platform is the future of live streaming?
Okay.
All right. I asked that question. 10,000 votes on that one as well. 71% said YouTube is the future of live streaming.
And it's hard to argue against it at the moment. Like in terms of what we've talked about the previous podcast and the changes that are coming in that we didn't know about. And I think it's that trust that you want. Like the main thing for me is that when you go on a platform, right, you just want to know what's happening. You want to know what you're capable of and what you shouldn't go into and things like that. Well, at the moment, Twitch, to me, it's like you go online, you start streaming, and then something pops up that you're like, oh, that's new. Like for instance, I have a thing called a boost train instead of a hype train. So people are like, oh, that's cool, because a boost train, the difference between the two is a boost train, basically you get to a certain level and then they'll recommend it to more people. While with a hype train, the higher you go, the more emotes you get back if you contributed to that hype train. So some people are like, oh, I want the emotes. And other people are like, I mean, the boost train's great for you and all, but I don't see the point in it if it's like, I just wanted a bit of emote. So it's really hard. You can't even choose between the two. Like that would be a great option, but no, we can't do that. And it's kind of frustrating because it really is in the hands of the people who just pass it down to you. Like you're one of the select few. They make it sound really cool. You're one of the select few who's tried this beta thing that's going to be really, really cool. And you're like, actually, I would have preferred the other one because that's kind of what my audience prefers. But
also the beta things, like, and we've talked about this before, but like, the betas, not only are they really bad at notifying, but they enable it by default, right? And it's like, what? No, tell us about it and let us enable it if we want to enable it, right? At least then we're actually using the feature. You're not just throwing a feature at us.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of giant streamers got the chant feature enabled for them randomly when it first came out. And it was hell. It was hell on earth when the chant feature got released. Like legitimately awful. But I'm sat here like, I would have loved to have tested that for you. Please, if you just given me a chance to test it. And I even reached out to the user voice team and everything like that and the staff and everything. Everyone was like, no. I'm like, so you're going to randomly give me these features that I don't want about monetization, but you're going to say no to the community building features, the features that I want. Like, why? Like, it's just legitimately, it's like, okay, I understand there are hundreds of engineers and they can all work on different features at the same time. But why are we spending so much of our time on the monetization thing when if you really want more money, make the platform better for the creators to house their communities on?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you keep us here and keep us making money on it the normal ways we do, then you'll make it, right? Like, it's like, why? It's not fucking rocket science.
It's not.
Right?
It really isn't.
No.
They assume that if there's more ways for people to throw their wallets at the screen, that they're going to automatically do that.
Yeah.
Which is just not true.
No.
It's like, okay, sure, you're giving people more options, but they're not necessarily going to like these options. The creators aren't necessarily going to like these options. And if they don't like these options, they're not going to push it. They're not going to reward those experiences. But when bits came along, everyone's like, okay, so it's just a way to kind of donate directly through Twitch, but you get a bit of flexibility. Okay. And then the API rolled out and you could set alerts to any individual bit amount. So everyone's like, okay.
Well, I like bits. Don't get me wrong. I think bits are great. I think bits are cool. They're very simple. 100 bits, 1 USD.
Yep.
Perfect. I like that. That's a good, simple concept. I get the USD. My viewers understand that is what it is, right? That is simple. Why are we now adding this thing where it's like, hey, this guy gave you $8. you only got fucking 50% of it because of taxes and our splits. It's like, I know why we're adding it. It's not creator focused. It's not community focused. It's not content focused. I'm getting really hot about this because I'm just legitimately like frustrated out of my mind.
Yeah.
Right. That like, there are so many things, so many simple things that could be changed or added. And it's just, no, we're going to give you more monetization features you didn't ask for, not tell you that's coming out, and then also promote the concept of having to run more ads.
I also think like when you talk about donations, there's that thing of like before there was this elevated chat thing. It was literally people, you would usually link your business PayPal account and people could donate to you directly. And obviously PayPal takes a 2% cut or whatever it is, and you get the rest of it. So it's like you pretty much get like near 100%. So you're like, great. Well, at the moment, as you said, it's like people can also donate. And the only added benefit is that their message will stay at the top for an extended amount of time and then go away, and you get half of the money that they wanted. Because I also think that from our perspective as creators, we now know that we get X percentage of the elevated chats. While the user may think, oh, they get near 100% of it, not realizing, no, we only get around 50%. So they may also feel kind of like, I was hoping to give it to you, the creator, rather than Twitch, the company.
Yeah. And also the time that it stays at the top is also completely just absolutely because if you compare it to YouTube Super Chat, let's be real, they just ripped the YouTube Super Chat feature.
Yep.
If you compare it, Twitch, it's like you have to pay a wild amount of money to get even a shred of the amount of time the Super Chat stays up there. Unless they've changed it. When I first looked at it, it was like, $8. Yeah, it'll be up there for 30 seconds. And Super Chats is like for $8. It'll be up there for like 3 minutes. It's like
Good chunk of time.
So why are we ripping a feature from somewhere else and then just making it worse? If they've done here's my thing. If someone has done the legwork and you're going to yoink and twist, at least yoink and twist it in a way that shows that you've learned from what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a crazy concept. What if the creator set the elevated chat amounts and the length of time? They get control.
Yeah.
They get to decide, okay, do you want $1 a minute? That's the creator's choice. That's what they do on their channel.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and that's a really good point, because if you're a small-time streamer and people do contribute, it's like a lot more of a rare occurrence, obviously, because there's less user base, and you know when you get that, it's a big thing. So you could send it, as you said, $1 a minute. While with the big creators, they can set it for like 30 seconds for $10. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many people contributing and stuff, and you know that'll get absolutely abused. So yeah, why not give more freedom to that? Because you know that they can do it. Like. Yeah. It's there. It's not that much to like write in a code of like X amount of time for this. But I think it's the thing where they're just doing it, where they're throwing it out there. They've appeased the bosses. They've appeased the people who want this monetary income. And now they're just kind of like, well, we're going to deal with the flack back, but at least we've appeased, the people who are paying us the money rather than the creators.
I feel bad, right? Because there are people like, like Tom Verily and stuff like that. Like these are product engineers and product designers who work at Twitch, and I follow them all on Twitter, and they're really good people, right? Like they're really, really good people. Like for example, I mentioned Tom, right? RT Game tweeted out something along the lines of, I just had an hour-long conversation with my partner manager about my concerns for the platform. He's a really good guy. Listen to it all. I really recommend everyone do the same. I'm heading to TwitchCon, and I hope I can talk to more staff there. And Tom, boom, on it, retweets and says, hey, there'll be over 500 staff at TwitchCon. Come talk to us. We want to hear your thoughts.
Great.
That's awesome. But where is that energy with the actual shit being rolled out? You know what I mean? It's like at least when Fwiz talked a big game, shit actually happened on YouTube gaming. And like, this isn't me insulting Tom, by the way, in any shape, way, or form. I actually think he's one of the best sources for Twitch information because he's clear, he's informative, and he's just generally very, very creator focused. And I think a lot of Twitch staff are creator focused. But it's clear that they're just running on this treadmill of trying to be creator focused while other people in the company with more control are saying, no, creators want more ways to monetize while we get a big split.
Yeah.
I agree with
the ones
that.
who actually make the decisions are the ones who have the wrong mindset. But everyone else who's like a little bit lower, who are creator focused, they have the right idea, they don't get to make these choices. I'm sure they're trying hard behind the scenes. And they're trying to convince the higher ups, like, hey, you shouldn't do this, or we should do it this way instead. but they're just being stubborn and refusing to listen. So it's really, it's tough. It's really, really tough. And also, speaking of the boost trains, well, Reaps, hype trains, uncapped. That's
yes, they've changed the hype trains now. So basically, you can go for high scores. Very gaming inspired, one may say. And I've seen a lot of people, I wouldn't say abuse it, but definitely like they now can, come on, guys, let's beat our previous record. And, you know, basically more money, please. And maybe that's just me, the way that I look at it. But it very much, there are people who are obviously doing it well. And they're like, you know, here's the hype train. And to be real, that's fine. Like the fact that they can uncap it, that's whatever it is. But it is also that thing of like, I kind of like the fact that there was this limit to being the 5, you know, hype train theme, because it was kind of an accomplishment. You got there and everyone contributed and there was an end to it, like an end goal. Well, this is kind of like New Game Plus, you know what I mean? Where they're just like, let's just keep going and see how much money we can make. And it's kind of, I feel a bit, I don't know, dirty about that fact. I'm just like, I don't know if
it's a more, it's much more sort of like visually enticing rather than, you know, because when you complete a level 5 hype train, it shows you how much percentage over the level, right? But this, and you know, and sometimes people would push for that higher percentage. But this is just straight up like, nope, keep going. Oh, we're almost to level 7. Keep going, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's very much going to be down to how the creators themselves address it. Like, are there going to be people that are going to be really kind of being cheeky and enticing? It's like, oh, we're so close. Look, we're like 98% to level 10, guys. Or are they just going to, you know, let it go and just kind of have them be like, that's awesome. Thanks so much. But so time will tell.
This perfectly leads into something that I had happen the other day, and I wasn't sure I was going to bring this up, but I kind of want to bring this up because I think it summarizes my entire issue with the platform right now.
Okay.
I went to Twitch. I took a day off, or took an afternoon off, I guess, and I went to Twitch on like Sunday or something like that. And I spent a good 2 hours trying to find a stream that I wanted to watch because I think Reaps, you weren't live, so I had nowhere to go. Right. And I spent like 2 hours trying to find a stream to watch. And I was like, I want to find someone new. So I was going to my favorite categories. I was going to my recommended, my home pages, you know, stuff like that. Ammo wasn't on, so I was screwed. And I'm going to be honest. I legitimately, every stream I was in, most of it was entirely just being like, let's beat this boost train or let's do this sub revenue. Like, I agree creators deserve to be paid. Don't get me wrong. You should be paid for what you do. But like, it was legitimately like 2 hours worth of me going between new creators, all like with decent followings. And they were all just trying to find monetization methods. Yeah. Hey, sub right now and get this, do this, try this, let's do this. Oh, boost train, hype train. Hey, don't forget you can elevate the messages now. Oh, don't worry, guys. We're doing this extra thing. You know, it's like, or like their stream is just overrun with just like, they've just like ripped all of Bo Burnham's music, right? Like they've just taken all of Bo Burnham's music and it's like, oh, you prime subbed Jeffrey Bezos. And there's no content other than just people throwing shit at monetization and more reasons to monetize. And I was just like, where is the fucking content? And you know what I did? I gave up. I closed it and I went and watched YouTube. Yeah. Right? Other than, and that's not even including how much it was so annoying watching the same pre-roll ad over and over and over again every time I went to a new stream. Yeah. Like, because I don't have Twitch Turbo and I'm not going to buy Twitch Turbo because I just don't spend enough time on the platform anymore. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so trying to find new creators sucks because I get ads. When I get in there, they're all so desperately trying to monetize their content because that's the only way for them to live right now. And again, you deserve to be paid. Yep. And I'm sure there are creators out there who make good content, but trying to find them on Twitch was so fucking hard. And the ones being recommended to me were all hype train, boost train, monetize. And I don't know if I'm not saying that's the truth of like how the algo works. That's just what I saw being recommended to me. And I was just so like done. And I just went and watched fucking Northern Lion on YouTube. Yeah. And I was just like, fuck.
I think this may be a hot take as well, is that I've noticed the same things where it's basically big old sub goal at the top, how many subs they have. Like there was all this hype about Kai Cenat, obviously, who recently got 100,000 subscribers. So I think probably the most subscribed channel on Twitch at the time.
At the moment, yeah.
At the moment, apologies. Yes, at the current time. But the thing was, people were always doing this hype in Reddit livestream fail about they got to 80,000, got to 90,000. And every time that I went in to see what the content was like, it's not the creator's fault, but it was always centered around reaching that next level of subs. You know what I mean? Like it was always about like, let's get to this amount of subs and this amount. Like there was no real content going on apart from trying, like having a number on the screen and trying to beat that number. And I try and think of it like on the perspective of, we call ourselves digital buskers, boys, in terms of we know that we're street performers who are going live and hopefully people like our content. Could you imagine going to like somebody playing the guitar, but instead of playing the guitar, they just hold the guitar and go, come on, guys. Yesterday I got $100. Let's get it to 101. Let's go, everybody. Let's everybody put that money in. And it's just not content to me. Like the good thing about YouTube is that it's so succinct because it's mainly videos, let's say. There's live streams, definitely, but it's mainly videos where it's like, you know, for the 10 minutes that you want to go in, because I usually watch 10-minute videos, that you're going to get a beginning, middle, and end. There's a narrative to the gameplay that you want to watch. And it's exciting. And you're like, this is great. This is good content. And I don't have to spend all day watching it. Well, at the moment, as you said, because there's so many monetary aspirations and revenue income from all these new features, that people really are just like, come on, guys, let's beat this high score. And it's so frustrating. So frustrating.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm sat there making the world's best content, but like,
no, neither.
But I'm not devoting my time on stream right now to actually my stream. As I've said, I've got lots of issues with the platform and I'm frustrated, right? But the thing that, I want to make sure people hear me say the words, creators deserve to be paid for the work they do. But the thing that frustrated me was like, it just felt like everyone I joined had these audiences that had been built up and all they were doing now was trying to shear the sheep really close to the skin.
Yes.
You know, which is an Australian colloquialism. If anyone doesn't know, it's like when you're really using them down, right? Like the more you shear that sheep down, the less wool he has. You know, you get too close to the skin, it's going to start bleeding. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. But it just, I don't know. The creators deserve to be paid. I get that. I just wish I'd seen some actual content or like challenge or anything. And I guess maybe the 2-hour window I was looking was not great or something. I don't know.
Yeah, very true. Like this could all be, you know, what we came in and saw at particular times. And I'm sure there is like lots of content that you just have to be. But I guess that's also the problem with live streaming in general, is the fact that when you do tune in, you go to a certain time and that may be the next 30 minutes, an hour is of this concrete thing of like, you know, trying to beat a sub goal or whatever it is. While other times it can just be gameplay and the things that you wanted to go there. But it is very hard, and I'm not going to take away from anything. I just know that from my perspective as a viewer, I want content rather than let's beat this high score of monetary values.
Yeah, but it is hard because you sit there thinking to yourself as a creator, oh, I do need to reach X subs. You know what I mean? Or like sometimes you'll be like, oh, no one's subbing today. Does that mean my content's worse? You know what I mean?
think that all the time. And I always think to myself, should I put a sub goal on stream? And I always try and dive away from it. Like I've got one in the chat, but I never put it on the screen where it's like, I need X amount of daily subs per day. And here's my overall goal and things like, you know, big overlays that take up the whole screen. I don't mind it if it's like a little thing, but when it's literally, you know, the ones that are spanned out the whole way to the top, you're like, oh my God.
And they've got multiple. It's like along the top, it's like, here's my rent. And then down bottom left, it's like, here's my daily subs.
Goal, sub goal, donation.
And there's like 20 different things, right? And it's like the
ones.
rent is like direct donations. And it's like, it literally says rent like $1,000. And then bottom left is like sub goal. And it's like 100 subs. And they've only got like 50 viewers. And it's like, holy shit, you want every viewer to do an average of 2 subs each? Yeah. Like what? Like that's like I understand you need to live, but like they do too.
The inherent problem of live streaming as your main revenue stream is you're relying on the generosity of people. And now and then when you're scraping paycheck to paycheck, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to push this. So and you get people that are doing exactly what you guys are describing. They're trying to push and push and push. And trying to just essentially, they're trying to milk their viewers for more and more and more. And it's just, when I see that, I'm just like, I feel
it
dirty.
just feels a bit screamy for me. But again, me maybe like trying to be like holier than thou. And I completely get it. Everyone's in their own position. And if they're getting it, why not do it? Why not do it when the iron's hot? Completely understand. But I'm just saying from a perspective of the viewer, I didn't find it that interesting to watch. But it's working for them.
It's all about balance. Like for me, I just have like in my little floating cam, like my little panel that's under my cam, I have the little bar, like the bar that shows like, hey, yep, this is the goal and this is what will happen when we hit it. Because for me, it's like I don't push it. It's literally just there. But I feel that as long as you're providing some value in return to the viewers, they will decide whether they feel it's worth it.
Yes.
So if so everyone knows, like, when we hit like every 10 subs is a wheel spin, right?
Yeah.
And then as we go up in like the little tiers I set, there's an extra bonus rewards on top.
Yeah, like bonus
game
streams or specific streams. Yeah.
Yeah, so like extra stuff. And I've added a new one now, and it's also the chance to get it on the wheel spin. So there's two chances to get it. Either we get to a certain tier, or it is a small chance to get on the wheel spin, where I'll open a Yu-Gi-Oh pack, and I call it the tear pack. So I'll get to the rare card slot, and then I won't look at it. I'll flip it over, tear it, and then reveal what it was, which I think is
like, for all the card collectors, you're like, no. It's like a shiny.
And that is the reaction that we look for. So
That's
like
good.
I'm thinking of ways like what can I provide that will give people can look at that and think, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to see him do it, so I'm going to do that. Right? So that's kind of the perspective that I take from it.
Yes. I also want to say, speaking of content, complete kind of tangent here, but the other day, Ludwig announced that he, Stanz, Atrioc, and another investor have opened a...
Nick Allen.
There we go. Yes, have opened a company called OFFBRAND, which is basically funding other creators to do kind of big productions like he did with Mogul Money and things like that. And the first one off the bat was Juiced, XQC's kind of Nickelodeon game show. Now, I'm going to give you a hot take here, boys. I watched it, and boy, was it scuffed. So it was on brand with XQC, but it was only about an hour show. I think it was supposed to be an hour, but it went for like an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes. And I didn't think it was that good, to be honest with you.
I don't think you're the key demo, though, because you don't watch XQC.
No,
it was...
From a perspective of me watching it, in terms of it was basically two teams of two versing each other, and one of the losing team members will get slimed, right?
Yeah,
The problem,
I watched it too,
The problem with it was that it was very much, here's 5 creators in a room, and everybody wants to be the main character to a degree. So there was 5 people talking at once, and it was very, like, one question took about 5 minutes or so, when it should just be quick. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm not that demo. You are completely right, Eljay. I'm not that demo. They want to see XQC do crazy stuff. But I watched it and I was just like, this isn't great in terms of it.
I think that's one of the powers of Mogul Money. Mogul Money does quite well because there is a time when each person is supposed to be allowed to speak, and there's a time where it opens to the floor. So therefore, it was very well put that like Ludwig had planned it. They'd done so many rehearsals, so people knew kind of when their time was. Like, I know that I made a few mistakes when I played PogChumps for you, Reaps, where I talked over I've lost it. Grace?
Yeah, Grace. I'm full from Grace.
Grace.
I didn't notice this. Yeah.
Why am I thinking Susan? What is wrong with my brain? I'm like thinking Susan for some reason.
That classic
But
streamer, Susan.
Yeah, but like I talked over Grace a bit, and I had to apologize because I realized I just talked over. But like, it wasn't a matter of like I was trying to be the center of attention. I didn't realize the turns, right? So like, but I totally think you're right, because Soda Poppin talks a lot about how when you're in like a big collab, every creator doesn't realize there's some time where they're supposed to yell and time where they're supposed to shut the fuck up, right? And I think that's like a big difficulty, and like finding good collabs is really hard in that case, because sometimes people do just like, even mid-sentence, they'll just be like yelling or talking to their chat or like going over it, and it's like, yeah, sometimes it works, but be very careful.
Yeah, it's a steamroll thing. Did you see this at all, Nick, or familiar with it?
Yeah, I heard about them starting off-brand, but I didn't know that they'd already launched something. And yes, first I'm hearing about this with XQC and Juiced and all that.
Yeah, so basically the ending was supposed to be a slime. I just want to bring this up very quickly. So they sit under XQC's nose. Well, basically this like big kind of statue's nose, and they'll get slimed, right?
Got it. Yeah.
It was... So I believe it was Saikuda who was supposed to be slimed. And he was sitting there, and I kid you not, it was like a dribble that came out, and there were like I thought it was like, oh, this is just a bait before they like pour him down. No, the prop didn't work, so they had to bring in a bucket of slime, and XQC had to pour it manually over the head, and it just took all the fizzle out. Like it was scuffed, it was on brand, but it was just like that thing of like, here's this big payoff, and it didn't work, and it was just
I think it's still, he's got another episode coming, right? And that's the pilot.
For sure.
And I feel like pilots tend to be fairly scuffed, especially if you don't get to rehearse them properly.
Yeah.
And by the sounds of it, they didn't get to rehearse it properly. But now they are kind of on top of it. They know what to fix. It's their first show. I think the next episode should be pretty good. But I think a big takeaway that I took from it when I watched it is that I understood Off-Brand a bit better now. Because Off-Brand, the website and the announcement and stuff was a little bit vague. And seeing the show made me go, oh, I get it. Because it's not necessarily just the big live productions. It's just Ludwig is trying to create a studio that helps creators make things that aren't what Twitch is right now.
Yeah.
What we just talked about. Sitting there, not doing much, discussing drama, hype trains, just responding to dream face reveals, shit like that, right? He's like, let's do some cool shit. And that's what Off-Brand is any creator who wants to do cool shit, has a good idea and can prove they can pull it off, that's who they want to work with.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Poor bastard, I reckon their email inbox got flooded by people who probably aren't in a position to start asking.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's cool. I think that's really awesome.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because one of the things I've been frustrated about a little bit lately is that I feel like I haven't been doing cool shit. But it's like, I've been really demotivated to do cool shit. And with the new YouTube channel, I'm actually getting really motivated to do cool stuff. Like I just had this idea where I have AI generated a bunch of Pokemon, right? So I've used an AI to generate Pokemon, and now I'm going to show them to Claire, and she has to guess which ones are the real Pokemon and which ones are the AI generated ones.
Okay.
Right?
That's so
and
good.
I think it's just such a fun video concept, right? And then I've got another one that I'm doing right now. Like I'm recording with EO a little bit later today at like midnight my time, where what happens is we both spawn into the wild zone in Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? And then we have 15 minutes. If we encounter a Pokemon, we have to catch it, okay? We catch the first 6 we go in those 15 minutes, and then we go straight into a battle and we verse each other.
Okay.
Right? And the loser obviously does a punishment, right? And I'm like, these aren't big events, but they're better than Let's Plays, right? I'm actually doing cool shit again. Like I'm coming up with an interesting concept and I'm doing cool shit. And another one like EO and I are going to do is like or maybe not EO and I, but we're talking about it. Another one is like, we do a Nuzlocke, which we all know what a Nuzlocke is, right? And the idea is when you have a rival in a Nuzlocke, those are the big battles. Gyms and Nuzlocks you can prepare for, but the rivals can be kind of rough. But even then, they're pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is we do a Nuzlocke, but when we get up to the rival battle, we pause, we go to Pokemon Showdown, we build our teams exactly as they are in the game, and then we verse each other. And if we lose, if someone dies, that Pokemon's dead for good, same as any other Nuzlocke. And we have to keep going until we get to the very, very end. We do the Elite Four. The champion battle is there. We do it, winner of the whole thing.
Wow.
And it's just like, and the whole concept, it's all going to be offline, right? But like the whole concept of it is the idea of running a Nuzlocke, and you each run and do your own ones. You each edit your own perspectives. And the only time it overlaps is during the rival battles, right? And so it's like you both get a video, you both get a fun Nuzlocke video, and you both get the twist to it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really fun and cool. But it's going to be so hard. I think I have to convince EO to actually do it.
I love that idea though. That's actually brilliant. It's kind of almost like the reverse take on a Soul Link Nuzlocke.
Yeah,
which I really like. That's really cool.
One of the things is like I was thinking like how do you strategize, right? Because if you lose the rival battle and they move on, you lost all your Pokemon. And I was like, okay, do you just like go through every rival battle with just like a weak ass team and throw on purpose so that you never lose any of your mains? Like, or what are the rules, you know? Or like, because you can't grind, you have to like level cap so you can't be higher than the actual like rival, like the rival in game.
Yeah.
And like all these like special things. And I'm like excited again. And I have a concept that I want to talk about because a few months ago or a few episodes ago, we all talked. And I had a contrarian opinion, which doesn't happen often, obviously, where you guys said that you're more creative when you're not restricted. And I said, when I'm restricted, I'm far more creative.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mentioned the fact that I don't have a niche and therefore I'm constantly bouncing around and I never really come up with stuff. Recently, I've been loving the Nintendo and the Pokemon again. And I have had so many, as you can tell, ideas for like interesting or cool content because I've been restricted to being like Breath of the Wild or Pokemon or this other Nintendo game. And because of that, my Notion board is now just full of these really cool ideas that I'm excited to do.
Nice.
And it just feels good.
My mindset's definitely shifted now. So as I've niched into Yu-Gi-Oh on like the main YouTube channel, I have been thinking about like what's like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh is very niche. There's only so many things you can do. So it's very much been thinking about, okay, what's something different that's something else that other people haven't done. And that's led to me coming up with like a couple ideas. One that I've pitched off camera to you boys that Eljay was very excited about.
So I'm in.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to get that going on after PAX. That's going to be in the timeline. But yeah, I think when you know where your boundaries are, that suddenly you're like, okay, I can't go any further than this, and then you focus your brain power within that box, and then sometimes you'll get really good ideas that pop out of it. So I think very much, yeah. If I don't remember, but if I said that when I was unrestricted, then I'd take it back. I'm definitely on the other side of the fence.
I think I said the quote of creativity holds no bounds, but works better within boundaries. And I completely agree with that statement in terms of like, if you know exactly what the succinct message is you want to take out there, it's so much easier to work around that rather than, as I said, I think my analogy was Peter Jackson with King Kong, where it's like, I've got this $500 million budget and I'm just going to throw everything in there, even though it makes no sense. Becomes like a mess. So yeah, I completely agree with that.
Speaking,
I just think it's interesting. That's all. I just think it's really interesting. Like some people say, oh, you know, do I have to niche down to a demographic? And it's like they want to do everything in their power not to do that. But then I'm here and I'm like, yeah, I want to do variety on my other channel. And then I started like actually just playing this one kind of demographic of Nintendo and Pokemon. And now I'm like, yeah, this is all I want to do.
Yeah.
I just want to do interesting, fun concepts and in this demographic and then throw some indie games in here and there, right? And it's like, I just think it's so interesting that people do everything they can to avoid niching, when in reality, when you think about it, like Iona, for example, did Animal Crossing. And because they were just doing Animal Crossing for the longest time, they had some wacky, interesting ideas. People always came back because they always knew they were watching Animal Crossing on Nintendo. They were far more creative, had to be more creative. And it was just so much better. It's like, I feel like we all fear the idea of doing the same thing over and over again. And it's like, well, no, the fun challenge is you've got a demographic. Now you need to make it interesting every single time.
Yeah.
And you just add a twist that you think is funny.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's finding that game that I want to play over and over again, because I know that you're very like invested into like Pokemon and stuff. And for me, I think mine's more of a genre. I know that I could do horror. Like I know that horror I can definitely specialize in. But I guess it's like if I had to play, say, DBD as my main thing, I just know that I couldn't uphold that for my own interest, like to put the spins on it. I know that I could, but for me, I just know that I'm quite sporadic in what holds my interest. And if I'm not enjoying it, then I know that, as we've talked about, people aren't enjoying it. So I completely agree that I need to niche down a lot. It's just finding that thing that I know that I can follow through for week after week after week. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do... You go.
I was gonna say, don't worry, Reeves. I'll get you going with the flight stick for horror games.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, I was gonna do. I've been thinking a lot about YouTube streaming, and I think one of the things I'm gonna do for my YouTube streaming is I think my first set of streams coming to YouTube is gonna be Breath of the Wild. But if I die, I delete my save.
Okay.
And the idea will be I'll just keep playing that, or Breath of the Wild. But when I die, I have to dress up more and more as Tingle, which is still pretty good as well. If you don't know who Tingle is, Reeps, you know what? I'll get you a photo of him.
Okay, I'll put it up on the screen for all the people. I'm pretty sure I know who Tingle is, but
I mean, I can do both. It's fine. I can do both ideas. But the thing about it that I'm really happy about is the fact that I think it's just generally, I don't know, I'm excited to be restricted down to a certain demographic and know that the people who watch will probably also be excited for me to kind of be stuck in a certain demographic weirdly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
I don't know.
The thing for me at the moment is that I'm trying to do the best of both worlds, and I know this is wrong, but in the back of my mind, I've currently got a shorts channel and I've got my main channel. So I know for the main channel that I currently have, I'm going to focus that more on gaming. But when it goes to the tabs, like I don't have to have a shorts channel, I'm going to change that channel to be the commentary channel that I've always wanted to do, whether that be movies or, you know, crazy crap that's happening in the world. I know that's where I'm going to put those videos because it'll just be too much of a harsh thing to go to gaming commentary type thing. Although Moist critical, but you know, he's been around forever. So that's what I'm planning to do. So it's nice to know that I've got this backup that if I ever feel like I just don't want to do a gaming video this week, I know I can do a commentary video, put it on another channel and see how well it does.
Yep, and you're set.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Your shorts have been crushing, by the way. I saw you posted one of your shorts to me when I asked. I was like, you said, oh, this one did really well. So I asked to see it and you posted it to me. And I was like, that is the funniest shit ever.
Oh, cheers.
And also, you could tell you put a little bit, you actually put care in.
Yes.
So a lot of my shorts recently, I've been kind of just like pumping them out and not really thinking like, oh, I'll put subtitles. I'll make it like as good as possible, but I'm not going to put a huge amount of time into it.
Yeah.
And I saw that one. I was like, all right, well, you know,
the funny thing was because I saw yours and I was like, I've got to live up to that expectation because I'm still on the TikTok grind in terms of like, they're not doing great. I think my biggest one is like 20,000 and that was the one I put the least amount of effort into. I don't understand the TikTok algorithm.
I think TikTok, less effort, better performing.
Yeah, I don't understand it because these other ones that I put on YouTube, they're doing so much better than they do on TikTok, right? But then the ones that I like, this is good. I'll put it on TikTok, like a view. Me looking at it like, oh, that's really good, you know?
It's I'm in the opposite situation where like my shorts have just been doing like horribly. Like I like all the shorts, like a lot of shorts been posting like recently. Like they go to both TikTok and shorts. But on YouTube they're just like they're going less than 50 views.
You want to do a deep dive? I can look at this and I'll tell you exactly why if you want.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten pretty solid at shorts these days. Okay. I'm having a look.
Wait, hang on. Which channel are you on?
I'm on Nicktacular, 172 subs.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. You're right. A lot of them are just going, they're not even hitting the shorts feed. Firstly, the hashtag shorts isn't needed in the title anymore.
Okay.
But the biggest thing I can tell from this is that you're not giving any SEO'd information. What confidence looks like, it has no idea where that's supposed to go to. But if you look at best jump scares in Poppy's playtime, it knows who to send it to. So I think the biggest thing you want to look at is making your title aggressively clickbaity, but also putting in some sort of information so it knows what to do.
More context,
like, If I write something like in the one that I wrote this morning, and the one I wrote this morning was Breath of the Wild, but if I die, I dress as a clown. Also, I've noticed if I put a thumbnail on, an actual thumbnail, for some reason that does better as well, which is wild. Which is weird. And that one, I put a fuckload of tags in. I put all 500 character tags in. I wrote a description out that has like triple keyworded so everyone knows. And I also included, this is a little trick I include on every video I've ever done. This video, in the description you write, this video is similar to Point Crow and Small Ant in parts, and a large influence comes from Call Me Kevin and Ludwig. Just more keywords. It's just more information.
Oh, okay. So you just put the names. It's not like at Ludwig. It's
no. I don't put the at.
Okay.
No. So, and you put all that out there, even my title, everything. My vidIQ score was 50 or 50 before uploading. It went up. First 30 minutes, 4,000 views on that.
That's insane.
100%. I feel like one of the biggest things is people just don't give enough information, and the shorts feed is like, who the fuck does this go to?
Yes.
And if you scroll through yours, Nick, you'll actually see pretty much every single time it does well, it's because you've given it some sort of either good clickbait or just enough context for it to go to where it has to go.
And a very quick note that I want to add to a lot of people, because I'm a layman when it comes to YouTube Shorts and something and stuff. But this is what helped me so tremendously with it, is clicking on reuse details, so that you don't have to write all the kind of like the tags.
Oh yeah,
out
set
again.
up your basics.
Yeah, that was like
on your settings bottom left of your channel page.
Because I used to go back to another video, copy, control all the things, and then go back to the other video, go control V. I'm an
Upload
idiot.
Defaults. Amazing.
So underneath the title that you type, there's a little blue link that says reuse details, and click on the previous video that did well, and then you just change bits and bobs in the tags and stuff like that, and it's helped me tremendously in terms of.
Is that on the mobile app?
No, I do this on desktop.
I've never seen the reuse details feature.
Oh, really?
Is that from TubeBuddyBud?
It could be. It could be. I'm not sure. I use vidIQ.
I'm not sure.
That's the only thing that I use when it comes to YouTube, but reuse details.
The way I do it is if you go to any of your videos in your dashboard, you can go to settings in the bottom left and it'll have upload defaults. And you literally just fill that out, like all your tags, everything, your description, all of it, including your advanced settings, like everything. And every time you upload, auto-populated entirely.
Oh, yeah. I do that, but it's when you want to be like specific, like say one's a dog video and one's a cat video, so you change things to...
Yeah. You add the ones that you know are going to be the same regardless.
Correct. So I always put like reap shorts. Like that's always auto-defaulted. Yeah.
I'm loving the YouTube side of things right now, because I think it's really pushing me to think about how to innovate. And I'm thinking less about all of the algorithms and the crazy shit and all that stuff. And I'm really just trying to think about how to tell a fun story in an interesting way or a unique or innovative way. And I think I'm seeing like also I found my style a bit better. Streams, I feel like you don't get enough feedback on your stream to really know what works and what your style of content creation is. You know what I mean? But when I look at the videos that performed on my channel, such as the I made a cult that sacrifices Twitch chat, or girlfriend guesses Pokemon names, or just any of the ones that did well, they're not like, hello everybody, it's me, Eljay, and I'm back today doing this. You know, it's like everybody knows all 151 Pokemon at this point. But what about my wife? Can she guess it? And then just a really casual, fun like video, right? It's not screaming at you, you know? And I think about like at 11 p.m. at night, if someone clicks on this video, are they going to be like, oh, fuck, and click away?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because of how loud and intense it is. Or I think about if someone's watching this video in the background, they look over, will they have context as to what's going on?
Yeah.
You know? Or between two shots, this shot here moves to this shot here. Does this tell the story? And I keep thinking about that. And I'm not editing my own videos. I'm editing my shorts and stuff, but another person's editing them. And like I wrote all this out and I gave it to him and he goes, this is such good feedback. Thank you so much. You know? And I just feel like, it's weird. Twitch feels like I have to, Twitch made me be less unique and less innovative a lot of the time. Whereas YouTube, it's like encouraging me to be unique and innovative and like more interesting content. That's fucked, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it should be, because you're definitely like, you know, you've built your brand of Stream Scheme and you're building your Eljay channel, which is like more personality based. And I think that you've put so much effort into that when it comes to streaming, I believe it should be more of a hangout rather than I need to entertain or do this crazy kind of stream for like, here's the goal, here's this, that, and the other, which works if you're a streamer primarily, definitely works for you. But if you are like focusing on those videos, people just want to hang out. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just want to talk to you behind the scenes and not have this whole rigmarole. And that's what I think streaming should be at the core of it, is you just want to hang out with this person. But I know that I got to that state of like, I got to do more, because all I'm basically doing is streaming and I'm doing very few videos. So I had to do this crazy, I'll do this on stream. But what we don't realize is that people can't be there for 3 hours while you're doing this whole thing. While with YouTube videos, 10 minutes, I got time for that. I can definitely do that. Yeah.
That's it, exactly. Thank you, by the way, Eljay. I appreciate it. I'm going to go through and definitely rethink all the titles and for the new stuff as well.
I think shorts are weird because everyone goes into shorts and we've all been told, oh, here's how you upload a short and here's how it works. And it's like pretty much just like, oh, be under 60 seconds and do X and Y. But like no one actually says like it still needs SEO'd information.
Yeah.
And like all the best ones on my channel that have done well have had like the game title. It's been in the game category.
Yes.
It's had a description with the game. It's had keywords with the game, you know? And then the content's also been good.
Yes.
Right? But if I give it all of the information it needs, it'll test it out to like 300, 400 people. And if it's good, it'll keep going.
Yeah.
Right? It'll often be sporadic. Like you'll get like 3,000 on the first day and then like 2 days later, like 50K or some weird shit. Like it's always so broken.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is like, as long as it gets 500 to 700 views, I know I tested something and I know it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
It just needs to be improved in terms of like the content needs to be better at that point. But if it's getting like 4 or 5, then it's like, well, it's not the content that's bad. It's just that nobody has the algorithm has no fucking idea who it goes to.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like or TikTok. You upload a TikTok and it goes to like 100 people. And you're like, oh, okay, I swore in that. It's like, whereas I swear all the time on the Shorts channel and it still gets 5,000 views.
That's the good thing about it, isn't it? It's really nice in that regard.
You got that
uploaded a TikTok of Claire calling Mr. Mime a dumb fucking idiot, gets 100 views. Upload the same thing to Shorts, got like 5,000, 6,000.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. But should we move on to the topic of, oh God, what was it the other day that happened? Nadia. Nadia's the big thing at the moment. If you don't know, Nadia is a Call of Duty streamer on Twitch, and she's getting a lot of hate from various groups or people, basically that she's cheating in Warzone. And, you know, a lot of people farming her image, what's going on. And it's the fact that, you know, she is an attractive woman who's really good at Warzone. So it's like an easy target, right? And what she's been doing is she's been taking that hate and actually twisting it to make it work for her. Is like, lots of people have been accusing me of cheating. This is a TikTok that she sends out. A lot of people accuse me of cheating. If you want to see me cheat or think that I'm cheating, come on over to twitch.tv/Nadia because I'm live right now. And it is doing freaking gangbusters for her.
Yep.
She's up to like 15,000 subs. She's at the top of the category of Warzone. So she is like, boom, boom, boom. It is one of those things where I'm like, you freaking go, girl. Because everything that I've seen about her cheating, you can easily bring down to the fact that she's playing on controller, and controller with auto aim, the auto aim focus thing is just weird in general. And people are taking those clips and going, definitely cheating, but it's going so well for her.
You know what's weird? All the clips I've seen of it aren't even that. They're literally just like someone who has some sort of concept of how the game works.
Yeah, right?
Like I saw a really weird one where like she sees a guy jump through the window and then she turns to the left and aims at a doorway, which is the only way out of that room. And he runs out and she kills him. And they're like, yeah, no, she's got auto aim. So it locked her over and followed. And it's like, no, dude, she watched a guy jump through a window and then run out of a door. And there's only one way out of the fucking room. Like
it's the clipped out of context thing, isn't it? Where it's like, you don't see that beforehand. You just see the weird kind of shot. And then you're like, oh, definitely cheating. But then you see the full clip and you can see that she's tracking the guy behind it. Anyway. Yeah.
But like even this clip that they were showing me was like, you literally see the guy jump off the roof of a building, land, he jumps through a window, and then he runs from where and you watch her watching, like, and he goes through and he comes out the door and she shoots him.
Yeah.
And it's like, sorry, this motherfucker who's blind as a bat didn't see her standing there and getting shot at, comes running out and dies, and she's cheating.
Yeah.
Like, and then people are like, oh yeah, well, she's playing on servers from South America. Okay, so she's also got laggy ping, and therefore she shouldn't be able to hit people. So she's better at the game, you're saying?
Yeah.
No, you don't get it. You don't get it, man. It's like, no, I do fucking get it. You're talking out your ass.
The funny thing was she was invited to the Modern Warfare 2 kind of LAN. So obviously all these big influencers come and they do it. And she didn't do too well in terms of the game. And people are like, well, that just proves that she's cheated. She didn't do well at this LAN, which is one, a completely different game. 2, completely different movement. 3, it's on LAN. 4, it's overwhelming you with all these things and sounds and sights and everything like that. People are like, well, that's proof she cheated. If she didn't get the 10+ kill ratio that she usually gets on Warzone, a game she's played for years, then that must prove that she's a goddamn cheater.
Well, that's, you know what's a really good example of that?
Yeah.
Is the Fall Guys tournament Nick and I got invited to.
Yeah.
Right? Like literally the moment the Fall Guys tournament was done and Nick and I went and queued up with random lobbies, I got a fucking crown.
Yeah.
But the Fall Guys lobby, I was out like first every single time when we were doing the tournament, because let's be real, content creators who play these games nonstop have sweaty fucking palms and they are so good at the game. But then I'm online versing 12-year-olds. Yeah, I'm going to crush them.
Yeah.
But people go, Eljay cheats in Fall Guys and he gets his crowns, he's cheating. But no, it's just because people are good at the fucking game when they do it for a career.
Exactly.
And it's just performance pressure. It's also true. It's like when you're in that event.
I swear it never happened.
This is usually a lot straighter, this microphone. Let me just get it up there.
Also, the thing
It always dips.
The thing is that, like, she's been playing Warzone. She's been playing the same map for ages. She's got map awareness. She is well tuned on that map and where stuff is and all that kind of thing. So of course she's not going to perform as well in a brand new game that is about to come out.
Because the big reason this has been brought up is there's a lot of allegations out there. And the other day, a person from FaZe, I think it is, FaZe Sensor, I think.
You mean Sensor? I don't think he's from FaZe. I think he's from Optics.
Apologies. Whatever
They're all
org
the
he's
fucking
from.
same though.
That's
They're all 20 to 25-year-old white guys who have done nothing but work out, go to music festivals, and then play Call of Duty in their spare time. And you do you if you want to do that. I'm not hating on you for being that. But the toxic culture that comes from those communities is like wild.
It is crazy because he basically released a video, Nick, the other day. It's about 8 minutes so that, you can get AdSense. I'm not going to say that that's why he did it, but it's literally 2 minutes of a big intro of him pretending to be a detective. And then I think he talks about Nadia for a few seconds, saying that basically the reason why he's like, this video is about Nadia. And it went through the roof in terms of views, like his highest viewed video ever in the space of like an hour or so. And
basically the shit out of it.
He accused her of cheating, or like the truth is going to come out. This is what he's saying on Twitter. He released the video. There is no proof. There's nothing. He's just saying that my sources don't actually have the intel they once did to see who bought the bots or the cheating things was for a different game, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
And
so just to clarify that. So He hyped this up for about a week, saying, Nadia, your time is coming. We're coming after you. We know you're cheating. We're going to reveal everything. And then it turns out, one, he never had access, because he kept saying that he had access to the cheat source. He was able to get into the back and see who was downloading the cheat source. He never had access to the game Nadia has ever played. He has it for a different game that she doesn't play.
Valiant or something.
He has no way to see it anymore because he announced it publicly, so they patched it, so he has no concept and he still hyped it up. And the video, he openly admits, after he's had you there long enough to get ads, he openly admits, yeah, I've got no proof. I've just got no proof. Anyway, I'm going to do chin-ups now.
Just completely, just didn't, wow.
It's shockingly bad. But yet still got him many views, still got him many subs, and there's been an uproar about it. But it just goes to show you that I think we know that when you're a big time streamer, a big time personality influencer, there's a lot of people after you, and it's how you deal with it that's obviously going to keep your longevity, in the business. And Nadia is like a prime example of how to do it right. She's taken that hate and she's spun it to her advantage, where she's now like top of the category, amazing views, amazing subs, everything in between. And she's just doing what she loves doing, which is, as you said before, niching down. She loves Call of Duty and she's made a name for herself because of it. So hats off. I mean,
I'm just imagining when that video went live, she's just sitting there with popcorn going, yeah, what proof you got?
I think she tweeted at him going, this is why I like women.
So he, at the end of it, made a whole thing where he was proposing to her.
Oh, that's right.
He was proposing to her and pretending to propose to her. And she tweeted out, fuck, I'm so glad I like women.
Yeah. It was great.
Far out.
It was fantastic. And yeah, I guess that was the whole reason I bring it up, because it's just, I think it's good news. I think it's a good news thing.
Okay, he wants to clickbait the shit out of it. But at the end of the day, was it really worth it? Because he couldn't deliver anything at all. And all
he got money, he got views, he got it all.
Views, channel.
And if he releases another video, the question will be how well the next video does. Because that's how you'll know whether or not it was worth it for him. It's not a good thing to do, but that's how you'll know whether or not it was worth it for him.
Well, it depends if he also puts Nadia in the title again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
God.
Sorry, that was a complete tangent. Yeah.
No. It's fine. Another thing to mention while sort of on the YouTube tangent as well is Ludwig and JShlatt creating their own not sure it's a music label, I think exactly, or a music company, but re-recording music that is public domain because there's no uncopyrighted performances of this public domain music. And we've talked about this previously where Eljay went on a rant when everyone thought that...
Can I reference my rant again?
Go for it.
Because this came up again. I think I talked about it last time in my rant, but I had a guy on a video where I talk about how I love using classical music, but it's all copyrighted. Some guy, 350,000 subs. God, what are you talking about? It's not copyrighted. It's been out for 50 plus years. It's all in public domain now, you idiot. Replied back, the compositions are in public domain, which means you can perform them yourself and have someone perform them for you. But the actual performances that people do are copyrighted by the people performing them. And therefore, majority of them are copyrighted and can't be used. And the ones you can use are low quality MIDI tracks because people can do it themselves.
Yeah.
Guy replied back being like, well, how was I supposed to know that? After literally being the most toxic piece of shit ever. Sub count means nothing. Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Because it's true, right? Us three right now can perform a fucking song, a classical song. It'd be shit, but we can do it.
But we can do it.
It's true.
But we can't know, but we can tell people you're not allowed to use that.
Yeah. It's
because you're just not.
It's like Winnie the Pooh going out of public domain and people have made a horror movie about it because it's like a conceptual thing about Winnie the Pooh. But that's like me taking the Disney movie Winnie the Pooh and saying, oh, it's in public, it's out of public domain now, so I can just redistribute this however I want.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
And this came up again recently. Someone else commented, 80,000 subs, commented on my fucking video with the exact same take. And I'm like, you dense motherfuckers. You're allowed to be wrong. And I'm not going to make fun of you for being wrong. But I'm going to make fun of you if you're going to insult me.
Yeah,
right?
dig your heels in.
They're literally saying shit like, do you not know what public domain and copyright actually means? I'm like, holy shit. How can you be such... they're so toxic in the comments about it. And I'm like, I am going to eat well tonight because I'm going to roast the fuck out of your ass in a second. And I don't hide the comments either. I don't hide them. The guy with 80K, I think, deleted it though, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Didn't reply.
After being called out, it's like, oh shit, I'm out of here.
Yeah, like I think it's a really good thing, Nick, that you brought it up because it was very much like it was an aside on Ludwig's channel. I mean, JShlatt and Ludwig doing it, but that's so cool. Like that they're actually thinking ahead and going, yeah, this is for anyone. You don't have to pay like a monthly license. This is just free. Take it. And we're going to do more in the future if we get a positive response to this. So please go over and sub to the channel. I'm like, dude.
And all they ask is to be credited. Like, that's it. That's literally all they ask. Is just like, hey, just credit the YouTube channel, and that's it. It's so cool. Like, I'm really glad that we have someone like Ludwig in the content creation space. Like, I mean, obviously, he's only able to do a lot of this stuff because of his success and because he can fund all of this stuff. But I'm just glad that that he's where he is and he wants to do all this stuff. Like, he's just generally like, he's a really fucking good dude and he's doing a lot of good shit for the community.
He's just a businessman that's actually looking out for creators. And I think that a lot of people who get to that kind of view, average or whatever, they kind of forget their roots. I know how tacky that sounds and how cliche that sounds, because you're in a completely different kind of level than what you once were. And there's new problems and everything like that. But every time that I watch him, he always seems to be like a very impartial judge to stuff, like the whole Mizkif thing, Slicker, Trainwreck, everything that's going on. He's very much like, I will go full scorched earth if you betray me. When rather, other people have just said like, I'm undyingly in this corner or this corner. I believe very much like he's down the line in terms of like, if you do wrong, I'm going to call you out on it. And that's just the kind of relationship that we're going to have. And I think that's really cool. And not a lot of users or people within those cliques do it as much.
Yep, definitely.
And if they do it, they do it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
That's the most frustrating thing. It's like people do it for the worst reason.
Yeah.
If we're talking about drama, can we talk about the dream face reveal before we do questions?
The biggest news of the week.
Can we?
The internet going into meltdown. Dream reveals his face, and everyone has mixed opinions about it.
Oh, really?
People kept asking me. I'm like, and I literally was like, dude, I'm like 28 years old. I've got like a wife and a full-time job. I don't care if the kid reveals his face or not. I don't care what he looks like. I don't give a shit. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, it's like what you're like asking a 45-year-old about who Justin Bieber was back in the day.
Yeah,
they'd be like, I don't know who Justin Bieber is. I don't give a shit. Who cares? And that's fine. You can like whoever you want. But now I have to know about it because the internet, proving the internet is fucking trash. Assholes, disgusting, despicable pieces of shit. Literally, I didn't see a single person on the entirety of the internet who was coming out and being like, hey guys, maybe we should not roast the 21, 22-year-old kid about his appearance. Let's not. Even like people who have been on my timeline as like super progressive social warriors, people I really respect, like insulting the shit out of him. Yeah. Like just straight up insulting the shit out of how he looks. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? You can dislike him for his problematic behavior back in the day, but if you're going to insult his appearance and not just simply hold him accountable, like they're insulting his appearance, they're not holding him accountable for his problematic behavior. They're just purely insulting his appearance. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Because that is something you don't do, right? That is a core concept of that I have. Like friends between friends can do it, and sometimes it's funny for that, right? Like Ludwig getting called short by his friends and stuff like that, or chest hole, or calling Hassan a goofy motherfucker who can't dress is what Ludwig does and stuff, right? Like, but if your one thing that you're gonna do to go after someone is a kid looks like Shrek, then you go fuck yourself, right? He can't control how he looks. No wonder he didn't come out and use his face early on. If you're going to be like this, he looks normal. He looks like
that's
a fucking
the thing.
He just looked like a regular person.
That's what blew my mind. Because if you didn't know about this, basically on Twitter, people started trending the hashtag "put the mask back on." Dream is ugly. Some variation of that. So as soon as it happened, there were all these kind of like hate trends. And listen, I get it. People don't like Dream. But you can't attack him for how he looks. Like, what does that play into the whole previous past? It makes your defenses, or rather your accusations against him, seem even worse because you clearly have a bias. You're not doing the best.
We were critical against him, right? We were critical of him 2 podcasts ago for his Smile Club.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, we may not like him. And we may be critical of the way he double dips, but we're not going to attack how he looks.
No.
Like, I'm sorry. This pissed me off. Literally, I've unfollowed like a dozen people from my Twitter who think this shit's funny.
Good.
Like, I legitimately, I'm like, there are people out there who I followed, I really respected, and now they're being like, oh my God, look at him. He looks like the troll face. It's like what the fuck is wrong with you people?
I had no idea it was happening, and I just saw like dream reveal trending, and I was like, oh, what's this? Clicked on it, realized the face reveal. I was like, okay, moved on. I did not care at all, right? I was like, okay, cool. And then I moved on.
I'm going to attack him for one thing from his face reveal. His damn audio levels in that video were shocking. They were so bad. I was like boosting the volume up. I was like, I can't hear you, mate. Like, and it was just like high, low, and everything between. I was like, I understand why cutting the Minecraft videos are a lot easier, but yeah, if you haven't seen the video itself, because I don't think a lot of people watch the video. They just kind of looked at the Twitter, the picture online and made their things. But he seemed like a very, nice guy in terms of like, yeah, I'm doing this because I want to actually go out. I want to see friends. I want to do things. I was like, completely understandable, mate. Completely understandable. Fix your audio levels. Dream, if you're listening, because I know you are. You love this podcast. Fix your audio levels. That's all I got to say.
You know what really frustrates me? This is a weird one, right?
Yeah.
But I said this is the reason why faceless creators stay faceless, right? It's because of this shit.
Yeah.
Because of how the internet acts. But it's just like, this is the internet does this. The internet wants it both ways. They want Dream to do a face reveal. They're clearly all excited about it, right? And now they've made it so that he doesn't, he honestly, let's be real. You could be the toughest person. You could be on top of it. You could be aware of how bad it's going to go. You know for a fact this is a 21, 22-year-old boy who is in his room right now who feels like fucking shit.
Yep.
And if you are listening to this and you're one of the people who's legitimately joined in on Twitter, made fun of it, or think it's funny to make fun of how he looks and stuff like that, then I want you to think about this. This isn't a guy with millions and millions and millions and millions of fucking views that you're thinking of right now. This is a 21, 22-year-old boy in his room, and you are all trying to make him feel like shit. You are attacking a guy who makes Minecraft videos for how he looks. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It puts you down to that level, isn't it? Where it's just like, who are you as a person, like moral-wise? Because I can understand if you're like in your teenage years and you're still trying to figure yourself out, and that's what you used to do. You used to like pick on people or whatever it was because of how you look, because you've got nothing else better to kind of like hone in on. Then you just got to go, how mature can I be? Or like, who am I as a person that this weighs so heavily on my mind that I've got to go on Twitter at Dream, at all their fans and go, wow, what an ugly mother, It's just so, as Eljay said at the very beginning, why does it matter to you? Like, how does this help in any way, anything? It's a guy revealing his face. He did it. Well done. Move on with your life. Like, that's it. It's just like, as Nick said, I saw it and I moved on because that's all I can take out of it.
Yeah.
It pissed me off.
Society just sucks. Like and that's the thing. Comes down to that word we all know and love, influence. Where it's like someone, they'll that they're following, has jumped on this bat. Well, not jumped on the bat, even just kind of on their own accord, been like, haha, this guy's ugly. And then all their followers see that, all their community audience see that, and they're like, they're gonna jump on it too because the creator that they like,
good point,
said that as well.
Yep.
Which is, and also a real, like the biggest problem too. And that's why this whole thing is probably spreads like so much wildfire, is because people just keep jumping on this bandwagon of hate towards him over of how he looks, which is just absolutely shit.
I think it's also super frustrating to me because as I said, there are so many creators who I really respected. Like, I'm not going to say who, but there's a creator who is really, really big on like progressive leftist ideals, who is huge. And he has a community who follow those trends, right? And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was his editor is constantly out defending a lot of those progressive ideals. But his editor is also, I follow him on Twitter because he's like that. And I'm like, cool, I know you're an upstanding guy. His editor has been going through and liking every single one of these fucking things. And so it's appearing on my timeline. And I'm like, okay, so no, it's a double standard for you. It's a double standard, right? Like you want to defend, female content creators and Nadia, and you want to talk about rent, and you want to do all these things that I really respect. But apparently when it's just a 21-year-old kid in his room, you're going to make fun of him and call him ugly.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to join in on this and be like, let's go fucking make fun of this kid.
Yeah.
Right? Like, also, here's the thing. If we had a female content creator do a face reveal, and let's say maybe she was overweight and people were roasting her the way they were doing this, he would be up in arms, pissed off. And I know I don't want to draw that comparison, but it frustrates me that this is legitimately like what I'm seeing with some of these people I'm following, is that when they see injustice, they will treat it differently depending on how funny they think it is, and not on the actual core concepts of what's going on, right? Yeah. I'm not a Dream fan. people know I don't like him because I think he does do bad things for his audience and he's done bad things in the past. But like, why the fuck are people so okay with this? This poor kid. I keep calling him a kid because I'm 28, right? And I'm not that much older, but you grow so much from when you're like 17 to where you are like when you're like 30. Like every year you're an entirely different person. And I know when I was 20, I was still a child. Like I literally...
In my 20s, you're finding who you are. I mean, this not apply to everyone, but it's just kind of like, you don't know who you are as a person because up until the, 18, 16, whatever it is, you're kind of in this school format, right? And then you got to go into the real world, make money, try and make a name for yourself, really go after those aspirations. And you got to juggle everything. It's overwhelming. And it really isn't until later on in life that you figure out, okay, this is what I actually like. You're not just a yes man. I remember saying yes to every opportunity, when it came to like 20s, when I shouldn't have because I was being scammed or whatever it was. But you're just like, yeah, I just got to put myself out there. And now this kid is literally putting his image out there. He's got millions and millions of subscribers. He's got millions and millions of people who hate him. And he took that kind of risk of like, this is what I look like, knowing he's going to get roasted. And wouldn't the bigger step just be, one, ignore it if you really don't like this guy, like because it shouldn't even affect you. Or two, just compliment him and move on and be the bigger person. But no, it's Twitter. It's Twitter mentality.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that pissed me off the most about that is that what you said earlier, you're right, is that he did it because he was feeling like he couldn't go out and do the things he wanted to do. And I really related to that. Like, I was like, I really relate because on Stream Scheme, we're held back by having to do things a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? And because of my stream schedule, I was held back from being able to go out and do things a certain way.
Yeah.
And there's this guy who has all of these viewers and all these things, and he wants to do collabs with Mr. Beast, and he wants to do the stuff that he's being invited to do, but he can't because he has to wear a whole costume if he wants to do that. He can't go out with all of his Minecraft friends who have revealed his face because if he says a word, they'll go, "That's Dream. I know what Dream looks like. I figured it out." So he's stuck. He can't do that shit. And it's like this poor motherfucker has had all this success, but he's also been locked away from being able to do so much of the freedom that success should have given him. And it's like, oh, now he's finally come out and done it. He gets some freedom, but not only does he get freedom, he also gets lambasted by millions and millions of people on the internet who, I'm gonna throw it out there, if they got a single droplet, if they got even like half a droplet, a smidge, if they got 3 of the fucking pieces of hate that Dream is getting right now, they would be up in arms and upset.
Yep.
But no, it's okay. We're gonna make fun of him. He's a millionaire. He can take it. No, he's a 21-year-old kid. Shut up. I'm sorry. I am actually sent from this stuff, dude.
It's the internet just being like, I guarantee you 90 to almost 98, 99% of people would never have said this to his face, right? But because it's the internet, they're just like, oh yeah, just jump on, put a tweet out, comment, retweet other people's takes, calling him, ugly and insulting him on his looks. It's just that this is the anonymity of the internet. I can't say the word. But it's just, it's awful. Like, and it's like, I don't think everyone realized this is what cyberbullying is.
Yeah. Totally. Totally, man. And people just don't get it. But I'm just going to say, hats off to you, Dream. Like, you did it. You know that a shitstorm was going to happen. You know that this hate was going to come towards. He even says it in the video. He's like, I've dealt with hate my whole life, but I can't be this scared person anymore who's, knowing he's going to get attacked and flamed. I just want to put it out there. And, hopefully within a week, it's pretty much gone. But right now, during this time, it must be very, very hard for him. And again, after all, he's just a human being. Like, we have our disagreements with what Dream is doing, especially the Smile Club, things like that. But when it comes down to it, you've got to treat others the way that you want to be treated, right? And you can definitely go against their business practices and stuff like that, but it's not an attack on them, it's an attack on their ideals, on what they think is good and, things like that. But when it is literally just down to how they look, which they can't change, that just makes you really low, man. Like, so low. Anyway, I've harped on too much.
Yeah, it's fine. It frustrated me as well. I think we should do the Q&A.
Let's do it. Let's jump on in.
I've got us a cheeky question here.
Question Master.
Question Master is absolutely back on deck. I've been going pretty ham lately, making sure I get them. And thank you to everyone who has been leaving questions. I want to do a quick shout out though before we move into questions to say that Nick, we had a lot of comments over the last week saying that they really appreciated you sharing your journey with ADHD. and your thoughts on it. We also had people saying the same about Reaps and I with our mental health stuff, but people were really, really positive and appreciative and supportive of us talking through those things.
I'm glad to hear that.
And yeah, I'd like to say, I also, when I was streaming, man, people came in and said, I just listened to the podcast, and it was awesome to hear Nick talk about his journey with ADHD. And so I just want to pass that on as well, because
I appreciate that. Thank you. No, everybody who's commented and mentioned it, thank you so much. Like it's a tough thing. It's a really tough thing to deal with. Like, you're really handicapped when you have ADHD. I was actually thinking about this even just recently after the podcast went live as well, and just having more thoughts about it. And I'm hopefully what I said can help, is can give some hope and some light to people who, also suffer with it, but want to try and pursue content creation in some form. So I'm glad. Thank you so much for the feedback.
And so a lot of people have commented that, which is awesome. But today's question we've got going on is from Nini6, who's a lovely, lovely person. Thank you for another awesome podcast. This one has to be my favorite so far.
Hey!
Ooh,
I've been thinking a lot about Twitch and YouTube lately. And indeed, a successful YouTube channel does feel like a big accomplishment worth the hard work. Twitch grind, I feel, gets old pretty quick. Eye emoji looking over like, ooh. Here's my question about live streaming.
Yes.
How do you find a healthy balance between reading chat / interacting with it and playing the game / making the content? Is it important to remind yourself to stop and read all the messages, or is it better to focus on the most recent ones and read a few here and there from time to time? I will let one of you boys start with this one personally.
Completely ignore the chat.
Just ignore the fuckers.
Just ignore them. No, this is a balance that I think you individually need to figure out where how well you go. Some people are really good at focusing on the game and also looking over to chat periodically to catch messages. And that all depends. Like, are you going to give really short responses to the messages, but ensuring that you read everything, or are you going to take moments where you read something, give maybe you respond a bit, give a better response, or depending on whatever the message is. And then go back to it. You really got to figure out what works for you and sort of how quickly your chat's moving, and also the game you're playing. Like, if you're playing a multiplayer game, yeah, of course you're not going to be able to constantly look at chat. That's you want to you're making the content of playing, Warzone or whatever it is, right? So you're going to focus on that for the moment, and then periodically look at chat and just look at the most recent messages, or maybe skim the chat and find something that's more relevant for you to respond to. It depends, but I think that the content should come first. Like, if you get to a moment where let's say you're playing a horror game and something suspenseful happens and you're trying to creep around a corner, it's go with that moment, go with the flow, because that's going to create a better moment, something that's clippable, something that you can reuse, rather than halfway through you going through this door, you look to the left, it's hey, Booty Man 69, and then the jump scare happens, and it's well.
Yeah. For me, it's think of the content. If you're in a just chatting segment, of course, focus all of your kind of ideas and comments and everything like that on the chat, because that's what you're doing. You're just chatting. Well, as Nick said, if it's a content thing of a horror game, or if it's a really crucial moment, storyline based in a cutscene where you're about to find out something, be quiet. And you don't have to do it, because here's the thing. People know that that's what's happening on screen is very important from a viewer's point of view, because there's the person who typed the question who wants a response. And then there's all the other people who didn't type that question who are focused on the game. And if you stop to answer this one person's question and the killer was, obviously it's going to be completely a deflated sense of, the moment. So think about what content you're doing. If it's Animal Crossing, that allows you plenty of time to talk to chat, because, you can stop, start. There's no real cutscenes, things like that. But there are those big moments, say you want to go to an island and discover something, and I finally got that villager I was after. Big moment, right? But if it is just you chatting along and just, making that vibe of everyone feeling happy and comfortable, talk as much as you want to chat. That's what I'd say. Think of your content, what works best within it.
My entire approach these days is I don't care how many people are watching or how many people are chatting. I literally, all I'm thinking of is what is the point of the content I'm doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it is, if I do, how do I put it? Say I do a stream where I'm doing Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke. Those are going to be, that's not going to take one stream. That's going to take 6 streams, right? So the way I look at that is you can do lots of chatting and stuff like that, as long as you give reactions to the important things, like going into Giovanni fight or a gym fight, so that when I inevitably write a script of all the things that happened in it, I have the funny reactions to cut into the moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a classic, like, I tried to beat this Nuzlocke. Here's how it happened. Here's how it went down. I'm telling the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then if I was doing a thing where I'm doing like a 90-minute, say I'm ranking a bunch of video games, well, that is going to be pretty much the entire thing is going to be used for the video. So I need to make sure that I'm not constantly giving chat the chance, and I have to give the editor something that they can use in order to turn that into a part for that ranking, right? I can't just be like, chat, what do you think? C, I'll put it in C. It has to be like, all right, Mario 64. The movement in it literally goes harder than any other game. People still play to this day. Of course, we do have to remember, though, looks like shit, F tier.
Yep.
And then I can say, chat, what do you think, though? You know what I mean? And then I bring it in.
Clippable moments, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think about the clips purely. I literally just think about the edit, right?
The
Do I
pacing.
have, I just say to myself, do I have what I would need for the edit? You know what I mean? That's my entire approach these days. Because, again, I've said 1,000 times, I'll say it again. Stream ends and it's gone.
Yep. That's it. I literally did the same thing just this Sunday night where we recorded. So we once a month we do this like replay competition in Yu-Gi-Oh! And we obviously, you know, we do it live. And so I'm recording at the same time. And while I'm reacting and commentating over, you know, the replay, like that's my pure focus. And then after it's over, I'm like, oh, that was really good. Love when this happened, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. And then I like pause for like a second or two, knowing that that's where the cut's going to be in the edit. And then I look over, then I change my attention back to chat. Be like, oh, okay, what did you think of that? And then I sort of catch up with messages and things like that. You know, because I turn alerts off and everything, so I'll thank anything that came through. So like you got to think about how you're, you know, if you're going to reuse the content as well, which is a really, really big thing. But you shouldn't ever pressure yourself either. And don't let a viewer make you feel bad if you missed a message as well. Like no one can truly, you know, catch every single message. So if someone tries to make you feel bad or make you feel guilty, just tell them no. I had it happen to me like a week ago where a viewer of mine, you know, came in and was like, wow, I can't believe you ignored me when I said hello. And I had to just stop for a second and was like, and they've done it before and I've ignored it in a previous stream, but I stopped for a second. I was like, look, I'm here trying to entertain a whole bunch of people. If I miss a message, just so be it, but don't respond into a chat and then make the streamer feel bad. And they're just like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, that's okay. Now you know, just don't do it again.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, I find personally, I think it's really interesting for me is that I've kind of just moved everything and changed everything, right? Like first it was my time slot, then it was how many days I'm streaming. Now it's my content and what I'm focusing on. And like soon it feels like, unless some big changes happen in the next like month and a half, it feels like it's going to be platform changing, right? And it just, the way I think about it is like, those chat messages, they disappear. Like the other day in my TED Talk kind of concept for my Friday stream, I said, what are you building during a stream? I said, when you go live every day for 5 hours, what are you building? And everyone was like, a community. And I was like, no, you're not. Because if you stop going live, you don't have a community anymore. And like, oh yeah, they'll be in Discord. And I'm like, well, then you're not building on stream where it is. You're building in Discord, your community.
Yeah.
It's you know, and like those chat messages don't mean much, but if like just desperately trying to make everyone chat by asking them like open-ended questions and stuff, I've done. And yeah, it's good on sometimes, but other times it's like, well, does this really matter? Like, is this the content that I want, you know, to constantly just be trying to make people engage as much as possible? Or am I okay with just having a slow chat and knowing that I can edit it into something later?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think it's a huge question about your content and what you do. But me personally, I don't know. For me personally, I'm focusing more on the concept of giving people something they can enjoy long term on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that we've thought? Oh, sorry, Reeps, go.
No. I was just basically say you pretty much nailed it at the beginning there. It's like once a stream is over, it's gone forever. And you got to think about what you can actually do given the time of what adds to a stream and what detracts from a stream. And sometimes just answering all the questions during a gameplay detracts from it. And sometimes if you're starting out, it can definitely be more attractive to people, because how many times have you got this, boys, where you respond to a message from a new user and they go, wow, usually streamers don't even read my messages. And you're like, well, we read them here, you know? So, yeah.
I gave a kid a tip yesterday. He was like, you're the only streamer who responds to me. And you could tell the reason was because he doesn't talk about things that are on topic. And I said to stream, I was like, if you really want streamers to respond to your message, all you have to do is actually just be responding to what the streamer's saying.
Yep.
The reason most people get ignored is because they're not in any way responding to the content the streamer is doing.
Yeah.
Like, you go into anyone's chats around our size, half the time, no one has any fucking idea what's going on in the content, which is one of the reasons why the content I'm doing often I find makes me feel like less likely to innovate or less likely to do big things on stream, because people a lot of the time for streams aren't there to watch you do interesting X challenge.
Yeah.
They're there to talk and interact with you, and they don't really care what you're doing, right? And so it's like, and I was like, if you want people to respond to you, you want streamers to read out your messages, all you have to do is write messages that are responding to the streamer's actual content or being on topic.
Facts.
Right? If you're getting ignored in chats, or if you feel like the streamer's not responding to you enough, it's literally probably because you're not fucking talking about anything that has to do with anything right now.
Very true.
You've come in, you're like, hey, have you heard about Dream's face reveal? You heard about the Queen dying?
Yep.
What's your favorite video game right now? Tell me what in the middle of this boss fight.
Please. Yep. And you know, we've spoke about it a lot in the past. LJ specifically as well. You're making content for the collective. That's the big one too. Like if a viewer's coming in purely because they want that one-to-one, interaction with you, right? And you're not there to provide that one-to-one interaction and engagement, then you're not for them. They need to go somewhere else, most likely to they're probably the kind of people that will only hang around very small streams because they want that instant feedback. And
if you get big,
reaction.
you've lost your way. Yeah.
Yeah.
In their eyes is what I'm saying. To the
in their eyes.
To the people.
No, we understood it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think it's a hard question. And I think it's also a hot take. I think what we've all just said there is going to be debatable for a lot of creators, because I think these days for this podcast, a lot of what we're saying is in regards to the long-term future of content creation and what we want to do and who we are and what we're currently onto. But I think a lot of content creators around our sizes who go between like 50 to 150, they would disagree with a lot of it, because the things they've seen success with are responding to every single message, or focusing on those like really, really open-ended things and constantly keeping chat active and reading everything to the point where you've just done an entire like Witcher 3 campaign and not a single person in chat remembers a funny moment from it, because all you guys did was just talk the entire time about anything and everything to keep activity. And that was just a random, I'm not calling anyone out, that's just a random game that I've got in my Steam library next to me.
Well, yeah, it's like a 100-hour game as well. So
yeah, right. And like legitimately people just don't like, but here's the other thing, right? When we think about that, the people who click in who do want to see Witcher, they're going to leave because they don't give a fuck about you talking about ice cream. You know what I mean? This is a really interesting thing. The reason I think Northern Lion is such a good streamer is because a lot of the time he is just talking game commentary, and it's fun commentary to listen to, while then every now and then reading out a chat message, having a conversation and stuff like that. But it fits really well into the game. You know what I mean? It's not just constant talking, and chat is there for the game. So if someone comes in for Super Auto Pets, they will get Super Auto Pets content and then a little bit of like, a little bit of chat interaction.
Yeah.
And I think that's so powerful. But I think balancing that is practically impossible when we're starting out. It takes a huge amount of practice.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Either way, I think we might be dropping frames because we've already got to get ready for our flights to PAX in a couple of days.
My God, I'm excited. 2 days, boys. I'm going to see you live in person. Oh my God.
Yes.
Get keen. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up, other than just simply telling people to comment, subscribe, like the video?
We're nearly at 1,000. Come on, guys.
We're so close. Also, we're at, I think, 240 followers on Twitter, which is really cool. And on our Twitter as well, which has been climbing as well. So thanks everybody who's been following on Twitter as well, on the other socials. But yeah, keep an eye out. We're discussing at the moment, whether we have like a little sort of meetup at some time at PAX. So for anyone going, you want to like come and meet us, then yeah, we'll just keep an eye on the Twitter. Follow all of us on Twitter as well, because that's where we're going to be posting to let everybody know.
And also for me, I'm not going to speak for the other boys, but if you do see me and you're worried, like, should I go up and say hello? Of course. Like, go, I know you from Stream Room, or I know you from your stream. Please do so. Wait, they can't hear this. It's already gone. Damn it. Disregard.
Yeah, it's true. That's right.
Forget about
we should have done it last week.
Anyway, but for the
that literally
future
slipped my
cons
mind.
that we go to, always feel free to come up and say hey.
Absolutely.
Either way, thank you so much for listening. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify, consider jumping over to the other platforms, whatever works better for you. We have them everywhere. Again, comment, like, subscribe. It really helps us out. We're almost at 1,000 subs, which means absolutely fucking nothing to us, but it's just a fun metric. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That tickled you, Reeves.